Have you ever stopped to think that airports hide much more than they seem? Amid endless lines, lost luggage, and ever-increasing ticket prices, there are secrets that airlines would rather you never discover. What few people know is that behind that chaotic routine of check-in and boarding, there are shortcuts, tricks, and hidden advantages that can completely transform your travel experience in 2025. And today, the Traveling Primate is going to reveal 11 airport secrets that can save you time, money, and even give you benefits that many passengers don't even realize exist. Stay until the end because the last secret is so surprising that you'll start looking at airports in a completely different way. Tip 11. Hidden rest areas. Many people believe that comfort in airports only exists inside VIP lounges. But the truth is that several terminals hide rest areas that are almost never advertised. Instead of hard chairs and constant noise, these spaces offer reclinable seats, quiet environments, and, in some cases, even showers and changing rooms for those who need to recover from a long trip. The curious thing is that these areas usually do not appear on official maps, nor are they announced over the loudspeakers. Many are located in discreet corridors, behind doors with nearly imperceptible signs, or in less busy sections of the terminal. To find them, it's worth discreetly asking an employee about rest zones or quiet rooms, or looking for smaller signs with icons of a moon or a chair, which most passengers ignore. The most interesting part is that in many airports around the world, these spaces are free of charge. Places like Dubai, Singapore, or Doha already offer true refuges, comparable even to small hotels, but at no extra cost. So next time you face a long connection, instead of resigning yourself to uncomfortable hours of waiting, look for these hidden areas and turn your break into a real moment of rest. Tip 10. Free water without paying a high price. In airports, one of the most common traps is when you're trying to quench your thirst. Shops and vending machines sell bottled water at outrageous prices, and because many passengers believe there's no alternative, they end up paying without thinking twice. But what few people know is that after passing through security, most terminals have refill stations or free drinking fountains scattered throughout the departure areas. The trick is simple. Just bring an empty bottle in your carry-on and fill it after passing security. Besides saving money, you also ensure fresh water throughout the flight, without relying on in-flight service, which is often slow and limited to small cups. In some more modern airports, these stations are even more sophisticated, offering filtered cold water, room temperature water, and even sparkling options. It's a simple detail, but it makes a big difference for frequent travelers. Next time you're in a terminal, pay closer attention to corridors and dining areas. There's almost always a discreet fountain waiting to be used, and every time you opt for it instead of paying for a bottled water, you'll feel like you've discovered a little secret the airport didn't want you to know. Tip 9. Secret VIP lounges. Few people imagine it, but beyond the traditional VIP lounges advertised on airline websites, loyalty programs, and credit card benefits, many airports hide secret lounges. They were originally created for staff, crew, and specific partners, but they offer almost the same level of comfort as the most exclusive lounges. Soft chairs, high-speed internet, coffee, snacks, drinks, and, in some cases, even showers and quiet spaces for resting. The big difference is that these spaces rarely appear on the terminal's official maps or boarding announcements. They are always hidden in discreet corridors, behind inconspicuous doors, with small signs that go unnoticed by the hurried gaze of most passengers. It's as if airports want to keep these refuges out of the general public's reach. What almost no one knows is that in 2025, many of these lounges began to be listed in travel apps and independent services, offering access for a fee much lower than that of a traditional VIP lounge. Instead of spending hundreds of reais for a day pass or needing a premium credit card, you can unlock this privilege at an affordable price, sometimes lower than the cost of a meal at the airport. This is one of those secrets that can completely change your experience. While most passengers squeeze into uncomfortable chairs in the terminal, you can be relaxing in a peaceful seat, eating and drinking at will, and still enjoying a safe space to work or simply rest. So next time you travel, don't limit yourself to what's officially advertised. Explore apps, specialized websites, and even discreetly ask at information desks. You might be surprised to find that a secret lounge is just a few steps away from where you are, waiting only for those who know how to look for it. 8. Ghost flights. Get ready to discover one of the most bizarre practices in global aviation. Every day, Hundreds of planes take off completely empty or with only 1 or 2 passengers on board. No, this is not science fiction nor a system error. These are the so-called ghost flights, a strategy airlines use to maintain their landing and takeoff slots at the busiest airports in the world. It's like a billion-dollar game of musical chairs, where losing a time slot could mean losing millions in future revenue. These aircraft fly with crew, pilots, expensive fuel, and all normal operational costs, yet transport nothing but empty air instead of people. It's literally money flying out the window, but it's part of a system that few passengers fully understand. The reason behind this apparent madness lies in international airport slot regulations. At the busiest airports, like Heathrow, JFK, or Charles de Gaulle, landing and takeoff slots are more valuable than diamonds. If an airline doesn't use at least 80% of its reserved slots, it can lose them to competitors in the next season. Imagine losing the right to fly at the prime 6 p.m. slot from Sao Paulo to New York. It would be a massive financial disaster. So even if there isn't enough passenger demand, the plane must fly just to mark its presence in the system. It's like paying rent for an apartment you don't use, but can't lose because you wouldn't be able to find another like it. During the pandemic, this practice became even more absurd, with thousands of empty flights crossing European and American skies. Airlines like Lufthansa and British Airways publicly admitted they were operating flights almost entirely without passengers just to avoid losing their slots. In some cases, these planes carried only cargo or mail, turning commercial flights into improvised freighters. The irony is that while this happens, you sometimes can't find a ticket for the time you need because that specific slot is being wasted on a ghost flight. It's a paradox showing how aviation operates according to a logic completely different from our everyday reality. What few know is that these ghost flights sometimes offer unique opportunities for savvy passengers. Occasionally, these flights are released for last-minute sale at absurdly low prices because any revenue is better than flying completely empty. There are websites and apps that track these last-minute flights, where you can find international tickets at prices that make no sense. But to master this strategy, you need to understand the entire overbooking and capacity management system that airlines keep secret. 7. Security scanners don't show everything. Even in 2025, with all the technology available, airport security scanners still cannot reveal absolutely everything inside a suitcase. They are extremely advanced, capable of identifying suspicious objects and even prohibited substances, but they are not perfect. That's why, in many cases, manual inspection and sniffer dogs come into play, remaining essential for detecting drugs, explosives, and even hidden food. This detail is kept quiet by authorities to avoid creating insecurity among passengers. After all, nobody wants to board a plane thinking that technology might fail. The truth is that airport security relies on a combination of machines and human beings, not just futuristic X-rays. And what's the practical benefit for you, the passenger? Simple. Knowing this helps you avoid hassles and embarrassment while traveling. If your bag is selected for manual inspection, it doesn't mean you did anything wrong. It's just a common procedure to compensate for the technology's limitations. You should also pay extra attention when carrying electronics, batteries, liquids, or even food, because these items often draw attention and increase the likelihood of inspection. Being aware of this gives you an advantage. You travel better prepared, avoid carrying things that could slow down the X-ray process, and face any inspection calmly, knowing it's a normal part of the procedure and not a personal accusation. 6. Emptier seats are monitored. Even in 2025, flying on a nearly empty plane is still a rare and highly sought-after privilege. What many people don't know is that airport and airline staff have real-time access to which flights have entire rows empty. They know exactly where the emptiest and most comfortable seats are, but they rarely give out this information for free. After all, many of these seat changes are linked to extra fees for additional space or paid upgrades. But here's the secret. In many cases, especially when the flight isn't full, a simple friendly conversation can open doors. Asking politely at the check-in counter or with a flight attendant can make all the difference. Staff deal with grumpy and demanding passengers all the time, so when someone friendly appears, willing to talk, it's much more likely they can get a better seat at no extra cost. The practical benefit is clear. If you dream of more space, traveling stretched across 3 seats, or simply escaping the claustrophobia of a crowded flight, know that there's a chance. It's not guaranteed, but asking politely at the gate or upon boarding could earn you a silent upgrade. The key is not to demand, but to show kindness and patience. In a stressful airport environment, this could be exactly what gets you the seat of your dreams. 5. Hidden hotels inside airports. Many airports around the world contain true hidden refuges that few passengers know about. Discreet hotels, often located in internal corridors or even in the terminal basement. They are not widely advertised because airports prefer passenger flow to remain in commercial spaces, and partner companies want you to pay for external accommodations. However, these secret hotels can be a practical and surprisingly affordable solution for those facing long connections or last-minute emergencies. Instead of leaving the airport, spending on transport, and going through security again, you can simply stay there, just minutes from the departure gate. In 2025, many of these spaces offer rooms by the hour, individual cabins for quick rest, showers, and even more complete options with bed, TV, and meals. And the little-known fact: in some cases, these internal hotels can be cheaper than external accommodations, especially when considering travel costs. Knowing about these hidden hotels can turn a tiring connection into a comfortable break, ensuring real rest without the stress of leaving the terminal. Additionally, in cases of flight cancellations or unexpected delays, knowing this alternative can make the difference between spending the night in an uncomfortable seat or sleeping in a real bed just a few meters from your gate. 4. Forgotten luggage goes to auction. Few people imagine what happens to luggage that is never claimed at airports. After months of being stored with no owner appearing, these bags end up at public auction. It's an old practice, but in 2025 it continues, and it can yield real treasures for those who participate. There have been cases of people winning suitcases full of designer clothes, cutting-edge electronics, and even forgotten jewelry. Of course, most of the time, the contents are not so glamorous. Many bags contain only ordinary clothes or personal belongings. But what does this mean in practice for passengers? First, it's a warning. Always clearly label your luggage and keep contact information up to date on your checked bag. That way, if something goes wrong, your chances of having your luggage returned increase significantly. Second, it can be an opportunity. In some countries, anyone can participate in these auctions, either in person or online, and acquire unclaimed luggage at very low prices. In other words, this airport secret offers two useful lessons. As a traveler, take precautions to never lose your belongings. But as a curious person or investor, you might find in these auctions a chance for profit, or at least the experience of opening a mysterious suitcase and discovering what time has left behind. 3. Delays are used to the airline's advantage. Many people see delays as an inevitable part of flying, but what few know is that in many cases, they entitle passengers to financial compensation. That's right. Depending on the country and current legislation, a delay of a few hours can entitle you to meals, accommodation, refunds, or credit for future trips. The problem is that airlines rarely explain this clearly. On the contrary, they prefer passengers to remain confused, tired, and resigned, waiting without complaining. In 2025, this practice continues. Information about consumer rights is hidden in fine print, buried in websites or documents nobody reads. Meanwhile, thousands of passengers miss out on compensations or benefits that could ease their inconvenience. If your flight is delayed longer than usual, don't accept the airline's vague explanation. Go immediately to the service desk, check your rights, and if necessary, file a formal complaint. There are even specialized apps and services that handle this process for you, charging only a fee if they secure compensation. In other words, understanding this secret means turning a frustrating delay into an opportunity to recover part of your loss. More than that, knowing this puts you at an advantage over airlines, which rely on passengers' ignorance to save millions every year. 2. Secret fast connection routes. Not every passenger knows this, but many airports have real hidden labyrinths behind doors you would never think to open. These are passages and internal corridors created especially for staff and crews, but also used in emergencies. In 2025, these secret routes remain a lifesaver for passengers with tight connections, allowing them to cut huge distances within massive terminals. The practical benefit is clear. If you realize you're about to miss a connecting flight because time is too short, don't panic. Immediately approach an employee, explain the situation, and ask for help. Often, they can grant access to these restricted corridors or even provide internal transport, like electric carts, to get you to the gate faster. The secret is simple. Those who ask often get it. Knowing this can mean the difference between being stuck in an airport for hours or catching your flight on time. 1. The biggest secret. Upgrades are not luck. Many people believe that receiving an upgrade to business or even first class is a stroke of luck, like winning the lottery. But in 2025, this is far from reality. Upgrades are almost never random. They follow very specific internal criteria. Frequent flyers, loyal mileage program clients, solo travelers, and even those who present themselves politely and confidently at the check-in counter have much higher chances of being chosen for premium seats when the airline needs to reassign passengers. You can increase your chances of getting an upgrade for free. How? By keeping your loyalty program profile updated, earning points whenever possible, choosing strategic seats, like the middle of the aircraft, which are the first to be reassigned in adjustments. And most importantly, maintaining a friendly and respectful attitude with staff. Airlines deal daily with stressed and rude passengers, so a smile and a good conversation can make an unexpected difference. The big secret is that upgrades reward behavior and strategy, not luck. And those who understand this can turn an ordinary trip into a luxury experience, without spending anything extra. So now you know, airports hide far more than they appear to, and airlines would do anything to keep you from discovering these secrets. Tell me in the comments, which of these secrets surprised you the most? I really want to know your opinion. And if you want to keep traveling better, spending less, and enjoying every detail of your journeys, leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with that friend who's always flying. We'll see you on the next flight. And until then, have a great trip.